I'm good. How you been?
How are you? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Man, hang out with me.
I know, right? So, where have you been?
Oh my god, everywhere.
Yeah?
I'm so tired. I want my own bed.
Hey, I know how that is. It's nothing like your own bed.
Seriously. No, I was just in Burma. I've been doing a lot of work there. You know,
Oh.
I started that organization, the Nexus-Fund.
Nexus-Fund, that was it. How's that been going?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, working on prevention of genocide is always fun and always easy.
Hey, somebody has to do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody has to save the world.
Yeah, but we made a film there actually.
Okay.
I know that you work on some of that stuff too. So
The
it was like
360 film?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
actually a VR film, 360 film, and we wanted to show the conditions where this one group of people called the Rohingya are living.
Mm-hmm.
They're really in modern day concentration camps.
Okay.
And
Kind of
we-
like the Jews in Hitler?
Yeah,
Okay.
like Auschwitz and Birkenau and the Holocaust.
In 2016.
16. I know, it's
Okay.
insane. It actually started in 2012 when there's an, okay, can I give you like a slight background?
Yeah, I'm very interested now.
All right, cool. So Burma's in Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
It's 90% Buddhist, and there's
Okay.
52 million people there. And there's this one small pocket of Muslims. They're called the Rohingya. They're a slightly different ethnicity than everybody else in Burma, although there are different ethnicities throughout Burma.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think that like Buddhists would be really, really tolerant and nice and non-violent, right? Like that's how we think of
that's the
Buddhism.
perception, yeah.
But there's been this like extremist Buddhist movement against these people. And when they became democratic country in 2012, these extremist Buddhists and the government actually came together to try to get rid of these people. They burned down 140,000 of their homes, and they killed a lot of people. It was horrible, and it was really systematically done. It wasn't just you light a match and things blow up because there's conflict. They had bussed people in. They had government forces that were participating, in addition to the Buddhist monks and the just general population that was participating. So when they like burned all these people's homes to the ground, they forced them into these, what I'm calling and what a lot of the experts call modern day concentration camps. They're surrounded by like barbed wire, like 20 feet high barbed wire fences. They don't have access to food or healthcare or education. And I just fell in love with them, Kari, and I wanted to tell their story. And I think 360 video is such a great way to get people to care because you can put them there. I'll have to show it to you.
Oh yeah.
It's really great. It's just 10 minutes long.
Okay.
But you meet a few people that live inside the camp, including some of the amazing kids that live there, and you hear about their lives.
So you went to Burma.
Yeah.
And you experienced this firsthand?
Yeah, so I got smuggled into these camps. You pay bribes.
Okay.
Shh, don't tell my mom.
Yeah, right. That's definitely something a parent would freak out about. You know? So you
Have some water.
Oh, yeah,
It's so
for sure.
hot outside today.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you like risked your life basically.
Yeah.
And to
I
go,
mean, kind of.
yeah.
It's I try to keep it as safe as possible.
But you
You're
still
always
put
at
yourself.
risk. Yeah.
You put yourself outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, man, that's crazy. What is the craziest thing you saw there?
Oh, the baby grave.
Baby graves?
Yeah.
Oh, graves of babies?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's this one guy that digs up all the graves of all the people that die, and people die all the time in these camps, as you can imagine. They can't get medical care at all. And there's just one area where there's lots of little tiny graves, and saw that. But of course, also seeing this woman who she had had a miscarriage, and her family had sold everything. There's sort of a black market system where the people that live outside the camps will like buy things from them. They sold everything they had to try to get her some help, and she was dying while I was there. And her husband built a fence all day so he could get the equivalent of 30 cents for 2 apples to feed her, while he and his kids were starving.
That's so crazy. And the thing is, like us in America, we barely hear anything about this.
Yeah.
And we just live our lives and not knowing there's people overseas that's going through a totally different experience.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a lot of crises out there, and so it's hard to get people to care about something because it feels overwhelming right now, right? You have Syria, you have the refugee crisis, but this one is a really particularly special crisis because it really is the next genocide and we're trying to prevent it.
Prevent it.
Even though it's in the steps of genocide,
Mhm.
there still hasn't been the mass scaling of killing
Yeah.
that we think is coming. So we think that there's a lot that we can do to
Yeah.
prevent that.
So
right
you're
now.
trying to nip it in the bud.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, I always ask people if they've heard of this study. Have you heard of it? It's like, if you could go back in time travel and
Mhm.
go back, what's the first thing you would do?
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of that study?
I haven't.
Okay, so 70% of respondents said the same thing, which is crazy, like for them to say anything. They said they would kill Hitler,
Mhm.
which is kind of crazy. And I'm like, okay, well, we're trying to prevent the next Holocaust.
Yeah.
So working with my organization, because I'm fundraising, I'm using the film not only to raise awareness, but to raise money so we can help them more.
Okay.
So I'm like,
So your Nexus.
yeah,
Okay. Nice.
yeah. And Nexus-Fund.org, so you better go to our website.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like giving people the chance to pre-kill Hitler by preventing the next genocide.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So, through the Nexus-Fund, or just through any kind of way, how can I help this cause? Like, what can I do?
Thank you for asking. You make it so easy when I don't have to say, please help us.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of things you can do.
Mhm.
We have a video on our website that you can go online. It's nexus-fund.org and share with your friends and
Okay.
send it around and ask them to donate. Right now, we're one of the only organizations in the world working there, and we're the only organization that's specifically working on genocide prevention there. There's some organizations that are doing humanitarian aid, that are doing bringing food and whatnot, where they get like this much food.
Mhm.
So if you can donate to Nexus, even if it's $5 a month, $10 a
Oh, yeah,
month,
I'm sure anything.
right? Like
So-
one less Starbucks latte. We've got it set up on our website so
I
people
don't know.
can
You
give a
mess with
little bit
people's
at a time.
Starbucks latte now.
I'm not
yeah.
saying don't have them. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's the cost of one.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Put it in perspective. People like what's more important.
Yeah.
So.
And tell people about it.
Exactly.
Tell people you care. Tell people this is going on. You can use the stuff off our website to show people what's happening. The New York Times is soon going to be running our virtual reality movie, our 360 movie, on their app.
Okay.
So you could also tell people about that, and if they have the Google Cardboard glasses, they can watch it anywhere.
Do you have a social media presence like Nexus-Fund?
You know what? We actually don't.
Okay.
But that's been for a really specific reason, because when you run a social media campaign, you need somebody to constantly be paying attention to like Twitter and Facebook and whatever, and responding to people and putting up the right content and all the time. And we spend all of our time on the ground trying to help these people.
Okay.
So it's a resource question, right? So 90% of our donations, at least 90%, go directly to people on the ground. We try to spend as little as possible on overhead, things like salaries or somebody who would run a social media campaign. But hopefully, eventually, we will do that.
Of course.
Yeah,
And through funding and people actually, paying attention to the cause, that will come.
exactly.
So.